The Grand Galactic Empire had mapped almost every corner of the known universe. For over 10,000 years, they had found, studied, and often conquered thousands of worlds. So when strange signals came from a small blue planet in an ordinary solar system, it was treated as routine. High Commander Tamin stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Starseeker, watching the blue planet grow larger on the main screen. He had done this many times before. First contact was his specialty. With grey skin that shimmered in the ship's lights and eyes that could see across vast distances, Tamin was perfect for judging new species. What do we know about them? Tamin asked his science officer, Hyun. Hyun looked down at her data pad. They call their planet Earth. They have only reached their own moon. Their technology is basic. They fight many wars among themselves. Tamin nodded. This was the usual story. A young species, still fighting over their small world, unaware of the vastness of space. The Empire would offer them protection, take some resources, and add Earth to their long list of subject worlds. Prepare the welcome message, Tamin ordered. Tell them we come in peace, as representatives of the Grand Galactic Empire. The Starseeker moved into Earth orbit, its massive shape blocking out the sun for those below. At 20 miles long, the ship was designed to impress and frighten new species. Smaller scout ships flew down to study Earth cities and military bases. They are using radio waves to communicate, reported Jiwoo, the communications officer. Very simple technology. Have they noticed us yet? Tamin asked. Yes. Their news shows are talking about us. There is some panic, but their leaders are calling for calm. Tamin smiled. Good. Fear is natural, but too much panic makes first contact harder. The Empire had done this hundreds of times. First, show overwhelming power, then offer friendship with terms that favored the Empire. Most species accepted quickly. Commander, said Jiwoo suddenly, we're receiving a message. They want to meet. Tamin raised an eyebrow. Already? That's fast for a primitive species. Where do they suggest? A place called United Nations. It seems to be where their world leaders meet. Tell them I will come down with a small team tomorrow. That night, Tamin studied Earth's history and cultures. He was surprised by how quickly humans had developed. From simple tools to space travel in just a few thousand years was unusual. Most species took much longer. The next day, Tamin and 5 officers landed their small ship in a large open area called Central Park in New York City. Crowds of humans watched from behind barriers, held back by police. Some looked afraid, others excited. A group of 10 humans waited for them. They wore formal clothes and stood calmly as the aliens approached. Welcome to Earth, said a woman who stepped forward. I am Director Kim. We represent the United Earth Council. Tamin was surprised. The data showed Earth had many separate nations, not one council. Had they united overnight? I'm High Commander Tamin of the Grand Galactic Empire, he said. We have come to welcome Earth into our protection. Director Kim smiled politely. That's very kind. We would like to talk more about your empire and your intentions. They moved to a nearby building where a meeting room had been prepared. Tamin noticed that while the humans appeared respectful, they didn't seem as awed or frightened as most new species. Your empire sounds impressive, said Director Kim after Tamin explained their history and reach. How many species are part of it? Over 4,000, Tamin said proudly. All enjoy our protection and guidance. And in return, some resources, military support when needed, and acceptance of imperial law. The humans exchanged glances. Another man, introduced as General Park, leaned forward. And if a species declines this offer? Tamin smiled. No one had asked that question in centuries. The offer is beneficial to all. No species has declined in over 1,000 years. Director Kim nodded slowly. I see. Before we continue, I would like to see some of our technology. They showed Tamin several devices, nothing impressive, some weapons, energy systems, and communication tools. All were centuries behind Imperial technology. As the day ended, Tamin prepared to return to his ship. We will send a full treaty tomorrow. Your world will benefit greatly from joining the Empire. Director Kim stepped closer. Commander Tamin, we must tell you something important. Her tone made Tamin pause. "We have studied your ship since it arrived. We have listened to your communications," she said. "We know you see us as primitive, but appearances can be misleading." General Park added, "There is a reason we have stayed quiet in this part of space." Director Kim's face grew serious. "For your own safety, please leave our system and do not return." Tamin was stunned. In his long career, no species had ever told the Empire to leave, especially not a primitive one. "You don't understand what you're saying," he replied. "The Empire offers protection." "No," Director Kim interrupted gently. "You don't understand. We're not threatening you. We're warning you. There are things in this system that should remain here." Tamin looked at their faces. There was no fear, no awe, only a deep concern, not for themselves but for him and his people. For the first time in centuries, High Commander Tamin felt uncertain as he returned to his ship, carrying a warning he didn't understand. The grand meeting hall of the Starseeker buzzed with angry voices. 12 council members sat around a large round table, their faces showing different shades of disbelief and anger. High Commander Tamin stood in the center, finishing his report about the humans. "And then they told us to leave their system and not return," Tamin said. "For our own safety," they claimed. Elder Do-hyun, the oldest council member, laughed loudly. His purple robes shimmered as he shook his head. "How amusing. A primitive species that has barely reached its own moon is giving warnings to the Grand Eye." "Galactic Empire. Perhaps we should consider their words," Tamin suggested. "There was something unusual about them." "Unusual?" asked Subin, the military advisor. "What did you see that was so unusual? Did they have weapons we don't know about, ships hidden somewhere?" "No," admitted Tamin. "Their technology seems basic, but their behavior was not what we expected. They weren't afraid or impressed by us." Subin waved her hand dismissively. "Some species try to appear brave. It means nothing." In the corner of the room, Intelligence Officer Junho listened quietly. Unlike the others, he didn't laugh or dismiss the humans. As the council argued, he studied the images of Earth displayed on the wall screens. There was something about this planet that didn't make sense to him. The council voted quickly. Leave. Members voted to continue with standard procedures for adding Earth to the Empire. Only Tamin voted to leave as the humans had asked. "We will begin detailed study of the planet," Elder Do-hyun announced. "In 1 month, we will present the full treaty to their leaders. If they refuse, we show our power. This is how it has always been done." After the meeting, Junho walked quickly to catch up with Tamin. "Commander, may I speak with you?" he asked. Tamin nodded, and they moved to a quiet corner. "I believe you." "Our right to be concerned," Junho said in a low voice. "I have been studying the data we collected about Earth. There are inconsistencies." "What kind of inconsistencies?" Tamin asked. "Their technological progress doesn't follow normal patterns. Most species develop space travel after thousands of years of slow progress. Humans went from simple flight to walking on their moon in less than 70 years, Tamin frowned. "That is unusual, but not impossible." "There's more," Junho continued. "Their internet contains information about advanced physics and technology they shouldn't understand yet. And there are gaps in their historical records, periods where information seems to be missing." Tamin looked troubled. "The council has made its decision. What do you suggest?" "Let me lead a small research team. We will study them carefully from orbit, without making contact." "Very well," Tamin agreed. "But be discreet. The council doesn't want to hear any more doubts." Over the next 2 weeks, Junho and his small team of 5 researchers worked tirelessly. They used small hidden probes to gather information about Earth. They watched human television, read their books and websites, and monitored their communications. In his private research room, Junho stared at the wall of data he had collected. The pieces didn't fit together neatly. "What have you found?" asked Mina, one of his research team members. "Their military technology is advancing quickly," Junho said. "Too quickly for a species that claims to have never met aliens before." Ha pointed to images of human aircraft and submarines. "These designs use principles similar to our own ships, but they shouldn't know these concepts yet." "Could they have reverse-engineered crashed alien ships?" Mina suggested. "Possibly, but there's more." Junho brought up new images on the screen. These are areas on their planet where our sensors cannot penetrate. Something is blocking our scans. Natural interference? No, it's deliberate, Junho said firmly. And look at this. He showed her a map of Earth's moon. There are structures on the far side of their moon that don't match the public human space programs they've announced. Mina looked concerned. Should we tell the council? Not yet. We need more evidence. That night, Junho couldn't sleep. He went back to his research room and began searching through ancient Empire records. He was looking for any previous mentions of Earth or humans. After hours of searching, he found something strange. A small note in a 3,000-year-old report about a missing exploration ship. Its last known location was near Earth's solar system. Just as he was reading this, Elder Do-Yun entered the room. "Working late, intelligence officer?" he asked with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Yes, Elder, just being thorough," Junho replied, quickly changing the screen. "Good. The council meets tomorrow to finalize our approach to Earth. Your report is ready?" "Almost, Elder." After Do-Yun left, Junho quickly sent a message to Taemin. "Found evidence of previous contact with Earth. Need to speak urgently." But it was too late. The next day, before Junho could present his findings, the council met and made their decision. They would proceed with standard diplomatic protocols. If the humans refused to join the Empire peacefully, they would face the consequences. "We have decided," Elder Do-Hyun announced to the assembled officers. "We will send diplomatic ships to each of their major cities tomorrow. The humans will understand that their warning means nothing to us. The Grand Galactic Empire does not flee from primitive species." As the officers applauded, Junho exchanged worried looks with Taemin. They both felt that the Empire was making a dangerous mistake, but the decision had been made. The warning would be ignored. Intelligence Officer Junho sat alone in his small research pod, floating silently in space near Earth's moon. For the past week, he had been scanning the dark side of the moon, away from the prying eyes of both humans and his own empire's leadership. What he found there troubled him deeply. Recording. Log 47, he spoke quietly. "I have confirmed unusual structures embedded in the lunar surface. They appear artificial, but do not match known human construction methods." On his screen, detailed images showed what looked like the ruins of a base or outpost. The structures were partially buried under moon dust, suggesting they were very old. Junho zoomed in closer. Some of the metal components had strange symbols that matched no known language in the Empire's vast database. Even more concerning, parts of the ruins showed damage consistent with weapons fire, advanced weapons fire. His communication device beeped. It was Mina, another intelligence officer who had been scanning Earth's oceans. "Junho, are you seeing this data I'm sending?" Her voice sounded tense. Junho opened the file. It showed scans of what appeared to be a massive structure 2 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean. The structure was roughly circular, almost 5 miles across. "Is this a city?" he asked. "Yes, and it's not on any human maps," Mina replied. "According to my scans, it's at least 50,000 years old, but the technology in those ruins is far more advanced than what humans should have had back then." Junho felt a chill run down his spine. Something wasn't adding up. The humans claimed to be a young civilization that had only recently discovered basic space travel. But evidence was mounting that Earth had been home to advanced civilizations in the past, civilizations that had mysteriously vanished. 2 days later, Junho presented his findings to High Commander Taemin in a secure room aboard the Starseeker. 5 other trusted officers were present, including Mina. "The evidence is clear," Junho said, showing images on the large screen. "Earth has been visited before, perhaps even colonized, by advanced civilizations. But something happened to them. They disappeared." "Could the humans have destroyed them?" asked Officer Hana, who specialized in weapons analysis. Junho shook his head. "Unlikely. The time periods don't match. Many of these ruins are from long before humans developed advanced technology." "There's more," Mina added. She displayed new images on the screen. "We've been monitoring their internet communications. Humans have myths and legends about gods who came from the sky. Many ancient human structures show evidence of advanced Engineering knowledge they shouldn't have possessed. Commander Taemin stood up and walked closer to the screen, studying the images with concern. What are your conclusions, Officer Junho? I believe something on or near Earth has been removing advanced civilizations, and I think the humans know about it. The room fell silent. The implications were enormous. We need to learn more, Taemin finally said. But we must be careful. The Council is still determined to proceed with claiming Earth for the Empire. There's one more thing, Junho said hesitantly. I've been searching our historical records. 7 Empire exploration ships have gone missing in this sector over the past 10,000 years. All records of those missions were buried in classified archives. Taemin's eyes widened. Buried by whom? By order of the Imperial Council. Previous councils from long ago. The next day, Junho took a small, unmarked ship and flew to Mars. His scans had detected something unusual in the Valles Marineris, a massive canyon system. What he found there confirmed his worst fears. Hidden beneath the red dust were the remains of an outpost. The design was unmistakable, it was imperial. But according to official records, the Empire had never been to this solar system before. As Junho walked through the ruins in his spacesuit, his helmet light illuminated the walls. They were covered with warning symbols and hastily written messages. One wall had a message scratched into the metal. It wakes when we use the drives, flee while you can. Junho photographed everything. As he prepared to leave, his sensors detected movement outside the outpost. Something large was shifting beneath the Martian soil. He froze, holding his breath. After a minute, the movement stopped. Junho rushed back to his ship and took off, his heart pounding. That night, as his ship approached the Starseeker, Junho noticed unusual activity. 3 large Imperial vessels had arrived and were docking with the flagship. His communication device beeped. It was Mina. Junho, return immediately. The Council has sent enforcers. They're asking questions about our research. They've taken my data and arrested Commander Taemin. What? Why? They say we've exceeded our authority, but I think they're afraid of what we've found. As Junho approached the docking bay, his ship suddenly lost power. A tractor beam from one of the new Imperial vessels had locked onto him. Attention, Intelligence Officer Junho, came a cold voice over his communication system. You are ordered to surrender all research materials. The Council has decided that your investigation is now classified at the highest level. Junho quickly encrypted his findings and sent them to a hidden server. He knew now why the humans had warned them to leave. Something ancient and dangerous was hidden in this solar system. Something that had destroyed advanced civilizations before. And the highest levels of the Empire already knew about it. His ship was pulled into the docking bay of the enforcement vessel, and as the doors closed behind him, Junho wondered if the Empire's arrogance would awaken whatever had been sleeping. In the shadows of Earth's solar system, the white interrogation room aboard the Starseeker was designed to intimidate. Its walls could change color to disrupt sleep patterns. The temperature could drop or rise quickly. Sound could be amplified until it hurt, but none of these techniques had been used yet on the human woman who sat calmly at the metal table. Doctor. Jali watched the 3 aliens enter with mild interest. She was a small woman with short black hair and eyes that seemed to miss nothing. Despite being captured from her research facility just hours ago, she showed no fear. Elder Do-hyun entered first, followed by 2 guards. He sat across from Dr. Lee, studying her with cold eyes. Do you know why you are here? He asked. Because you ignored our warning, she replied simply. Her calm response angered Do-hyun. The Grand Galactic Empire does not take orders from primitive species. We have questions and you will answer them. I will answer your questions, Dr. Lee said. That's why I allowed myself to be captured. Do-hyun paused, surprised. Allowed? Yes. My government knew you would eventually take one of us. I volunteered. We need you to understand before it's too late. Before Do-hyun could respond, the door opened again. Intelligence Officer Junho was brought in, his hands bound. His face showed bruises from rough treatment. This officer has been conducting unauthorized research, Do-hyun explained to Dr. Lee. He seems very interested in your planet's history. Dr. Lee looked at Junho with interest. You found the ruins, didn't you? On the moon, on Mars. Junho nodded slightly. Tell me about them, Do-hyun demanded. Why are there ruins of advanced civilizations in your system when your species claims to be newcomers to space? Dr. Lee smiled sadly. Those weren't our civilizations, they were visitors like you, visitors who didn't leave when warned. The room fell silent. Even Do-hyun seemed unsettled by her words. I am a xenoarchaeologist, Dr. Lee continued. I study the remains of alien civilizations that came to our system. There have been at least 7 advanced species that we know of. All were destroyed. By humans? Do-hyun asked sharply. No. By what lives in the dark spaces between planets? By what sleeps beneath our oceans and in the caverns of Mars? Her voice remained calm, but her eyes showed deep sadness. We call it the hunger. Over the next hour, Dr. Lee explained, the hunger was an ancient entity, perhaps as old as the galaxy itself. It was drawn to the energy signatures of advanced technology, particularly faster-than-light drives. It fed on civilizations, consuming their knowledge and technology. Humans evolved on Earth while the hunger slept, she said. It awakens in cycles roughly every 50,000 years. We've survived 3 of its awakenings. Impossible, Do-hyun said. No primitive species could survive such a threat. We are not as primitive as we appear, Dr. Lee replied. Humanity has a unique ability to survive, to hide, to adapt. After each awakening, we rebuilt from the ashes. We learned to keep our technology limited, controlled. We developed methods to operate under the hunger's notice. Junho leaned forward despite his restraints. The warning symbols we found on Mars, the message about the drives. Dr. Lee nodded. Yes, when you use your faster-than-light technology in our system, you're ringing a dinner bell. Your energy signatures are waking it up. Why haven't you told the galaxy about this threat? Do-hyun demanded. We've tried with the few visitors we've had. Most react like you, with disbelief and arrogance. She looked at them steadily. And we can't leave our system to spread the warning. Someone has to stay here to contain it. Contain it? How? Junho asked. We've developed technologies specifically designed to keep it dormant, technologies that don't attract its attention. Our entire civilization has evolved around being its jailers. She pointed to a small device on her wrist. This looks like a simple watch, but it's actually generating a dampening field that helps hide advanced technology from its senses. Do-hyun stood up and walked around the room, clearly troubled. If what you say is true, why not just destroy this hunger? Dr. Lee laughed without humor. Many have tried, all have failed. It can't be destroyed by any weapon we've discovered. The best we can do is keep it sleeping, contained within our system. So humans haven't spread to the stars not because you can't, but because you won't, Junho said quietly. Exactly. We're not prisoners of our technology level. We're guardians by choice. Dr. Lee looked directly at Do-hyun. Your empire isn't the first to come here with dreams of conquest. The others realized their mistake too late. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. A voice came over the communication system. Multiple energy anomalies detected near Mars. Unknown readings approaching the fleet. Dr. Lee closed her eyes briefly. It's starting. Your ships have been here too long, using too much energy. The hunger is awakening. What do we do? Junho asked, fear clear in his voice. First, release me and shut down your main drives. All of them. Dr. Lee stood up, her calm demeanor unchanged. Then pray we're not too late. Because if the hunger fully awakens, your grand galactic empire will be just another civilization it consumes. Do-hyun stared at her, pride battling with growing fear. Outside the windows of the Starseeker, strange lights began to dance among the stars, moving with purpose toward the Imperial fleet. Chaos erupted across the Imperial fleet. Strange lights pulsed through space, moving between the ships like curious fingers. 3 smaller vessels simply disappeared, leaving nothing behind. The main screens on the Starseeker showed impossible readings, energy levels that broke all known laws of physics. Dr. Jia Lee stood on the bridge beside Elder Do-hyun, who had finally released her from custody. His face had lost its arrogance, replaced by growing horror. What is happening? He demanded. The hunger is testing your fleet, she replied calmly. She pressed a button on her wrist device. Earth Command, this is Dr. Lee, Protocol Omega. I repeat, Protocol Omega. Almost immediately, The space around Earth changed. Hidden platforms emerged from the dark side of the moon. Massive doors opened in Earth's oceans. From these openings came ships, hundreds of ships that had been hidden from Imperial scans. Intelligence Officer Junho, who had been released and brought to the bridge, stared in amazement. "You had this fleet all along?" "Yes," Dr. Lee said. "We maintain only what we need to contain the hunger. Now shut down your main drives, all of them." Elder Doyun hesitated only briefly before giving the order. Throughout the Imperial fleet, the powerful, faster-than-light drives went silent. But it was too late. The strange lights converged near Mars, forming a swirling mass that grew larger by the second. "It's taking physical form," Dr. Lee explained. "Something it does when it finds a large enough energy source to consume." The bridge doors opened, and High Commander Taemin entered, having been released from detention. "We've received a transmission. From Earth, they're sending a commander to coordinate with us." On the main screen, a new ship approached, larger than any human vessel they had seen before. It docked with the Starseeker. Minutes later, a tall woman in a simple grey uniform walked onto the bridge. The name on her uniform read, General Yuna. "I see we're past the point of hiding," she said to Dr. Lee. "How bad?" "Category 3 awakening. It's still forming." General Yuna nodded grimly. She turned to the Imperial officers. "We need your help. Which of you commands your military forces?" After a moment of stunned silence, a man stepped forward. "I am military. Commander Minho." "Commander Minho, your ships need to follow our lead exactly. We've contained the hunger before, but never after it was awakened by such a large fleet." The swirling mass near Mars had grown enormous. Tendrils of energy reached out toward the Imperial ships. Where they touched, metal simply dissolved. "What do you need us to do?" Minho asked, all traces of Imperial pride gone from his voice. What followed was the most coordinated military operation the Empire had ever witnessed. Human ships moved with impossible precision, creating a complex pattern around the growing threat. They fired weapons that the Empire had never seen before, not designed to destroy but to contain and redirect energy. General Yuna and Commander Minho worked side by side on the bridge of the Starseeker. Imperial ships were positioned, at key points following the humans' instructions. "Your ships have stronger shields than ours," General Yuna explained. "We need them to hold the outer containment ring, while our vessels deploy the dampening field." For 3 days they fought to contain the hunger. 5 more Imperial ships were lost, simply disappearing when touched by the energy tendrils. But the human ships moved like dancers in space, always just beyond reach of the hungry light. On the 4th day, Dr. Lee activated a device brought from Earth. It created a pulse that made the view screens temporarily go dark. When they came back online, the swirling mass was shrinking, being drawn into a small black object suspended in space. "A containment vessel," she explained, "designed to hold a portion of the hunger and put it back to sleep." Slowly, the crisis passed. The strange lights faded. The containment vessel was taken by human ships to a facility deep beneath the surface of Mars. 1 week later, Elder Doyun stood in the grand meeting hall of the Starseeker. Before him were the remaining council members and officers. His face looked older, humbled. "The Grand Galactic Empire acknowledges Earth as a protected system," he announced formally. "So we recognize the human role as guardians of this sector and pledge our support for their continued mission." General Yuna nodded in acceptance. "We've contained the hunger again, but at great cost. It will sleep for now. But each awakening makes... The next one comes sooner." Commander Minho stepped forward. "The Empire will provide resources and research to help strengthen the containment, and we will spread warning to all spacefaring civilizations to avoid this system." On the observation deck later that day, Junho stood with Dr. Lee watching Earth rotate slowly below them. "All this time," he said, "the galaxy thought humans were primitive, isolated by choice or inability. But you were protecting us all. Sometimes, the greatest strength is knowing when not to show your power," she replied. "We could have spread to the stars centuries ago, but someone needs to stand guard against the dark." As the remaining Imperial fleet prepared to leave Earth's system, they carried with them not new subjects for the Empire, but a new understanding. In the vastness of space, they had found not another conquest, but teachers and guardians of an ancient burden. From that day forward, when Imperial ships detected the blue planet called Earth, they gave it wide berth and whispered thanks to the humans who kept watch against the hunger between the stars.